Balake. Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Ron.
Ron is here, everyone. Welcome back for more SPTV, where every day's a great day not to be in a cult. Guys, I got a special leak to share with you this evening. I personally have been hoping to receive this leak for years now. This leak is, okay, every single week, Scientology organizations are competing against each other for who can put up the best stats for the week. And there's a whole system that they have to assign points values to certain increases of statistics. And all organizations compete with each other. It's an annual game, but then it's broken down quarterly, and then it's broken down weekly, of course. And it's called the L. Ron Hubbard birthday game. And L. Ron Hubbard's birthday is on March 13th. So from March 14th to March 13th of every year, all orgs compete against each other to try to put up the best stats, and the winners are presented trophies, and they go up on stage with David Miscavige, although these days Miscavige has been having someone else hand out those trophies. And this, the weekly birthday game standings is the only official accurate record I know of what Scientology claims is the real number of Scientology organizations that exist. Because every Scientology org is playing the game, competes in the game. Every Scientology org gets a certain number of points per week, even if the number of points they earn is 0. And I know from my time on Scientology staff that we would wait for these weekly printouts, you know, when we were doing well and we were actually playing the game, because not only do whole orgs compete against each other, but divisions of orgs compete against that same division of all the other orgs around the world. So like Division 4, the technical division, I was, you know, when the time period that I'm thinking of, I was working in the Philadelphia org. So Division 4, Philadelphia, would compete against Division 4 of every other org in the world, and we'd get the weekly divisional birthday game standings. I have the most recent printout of the birthday game standings for you guys. And I'm going to share with you the top of it and the bottom of it so that you can see. Well, let me just share it with you. I'm terribly excited about this because this, by the way, this proves that Scientology is collapsing. When I have put out the estimate of how many Scientologists there are in the world, I think from my recollection, was remembering there being approximately either somewhere between 175 and 198 organizations. I do not know why the number I remember is so different than the current number. There are currently 134 Scientology organizations on planet Earth. Guys, this is how small Scientology is. There's probably more Starbucks in the Tampa Bay region than there are Scientology organizations in the entire world. The reason why 134 orgs is such an important number, or an important number to prove in a video, Scientology claims like 10,000 orgs, missions, and groups. And they count on the world not knowing the difference between an org and a mission and a group. The truth is, the only Scientology organization that matters is a Class 5 organization and above. And there's only 134 Class 5 organizations in the entire world. So let me just share a little bit of this with you. Share this tab. That's not the tab I wanted to share. I wanted to share this tab. Okay. The reason I'm going to show you only the beginning of the list and the end of the list is because the list has some markings on it that I just want to make sure. I don't want to share the part of the list that has markings on it because that might allow Scientology to determine the identity of my source. I'm sharing this with the permission of my source, but I'm still trying to be as careful as possible. So you can see at the very top here, it says LRH birthday game standings for 21 November 2024. Okay. Now, at the very top of this list are the Scientology continents competing against each other. So those are the continental Sea Org management units competing against each other. On the left column, you have the weekly standings. In the middle column, you have the quarterly standings. And then you have cumulative for the year. Now, guys, we're already in like the Scientology's third quarter. And don't worry, the numbers are arbitrary and meaningless. But you can see as of right now for the year, the European continent is winning the L. Ron Hubbard birthday game. You can see Africa is very, very close to them. Now, David Miscavige has these birthday game standings rigged in a way where any continent that opens up an ideal organization is it gets an unbelievable amount of bonus points where you just automatically win the birthday game. So anyway, so let's look. I wanted to the top section is the continents. The second section here where it says Sea Org Service Org League. So I don't want to get too far into the weeds, but I kind of like explaining this stuff for people who've never heard it before. In Scientology, the Sea Organization members form the most dedicated core of Scientology staff. They're the guys who sign the billion-year contracts. Sometimes they wear naval-looking uniforms. These days, they look more like an airline steward. And they form the staff members of all of Scientology's management units, from continental to middle to international management to other non-management related entities. Sea Org members also are who staff the Scientology organizations responsible for delivering Scientology's confidential levels, called the OT levels or the operating thetan levels. And so here you can see a list. These are, and these organizations that are not management organizations, but they're delivery organizations because they deliver the OT levels to paying Scientologists. These are called Sea Org Service Orgs. Okay, so you can see here, there's Sea Org Service Orgs. We're just going to look at the cumulative line on the right-hand side. AOLA is the Advanced Organization of Los Angeles. That is, of course, in LA. AOSH-AF, that's the Advanced Organization and St. Hill, Africa. That is in Johannesburg, South Africa. Actually, it's now in a city that's outside of Johannesburg. I forget what it is. It's the big giant Kiliami Castle. Okay, AOSHEU, that's the Advanced Organization in St. Hill, Europe. That is in Copenhagen. AOSH UK, that's the Advanced Organization in St. Hill for the United Kingdom. That is in East Grinstead, Sussex. CCENT, that is Celebrity Center International. That's an interesting one that's on there. It's not an advanced org, but it is a Sea Org Service Org. ASHO is the American St. Hill Organization. That is in LA. And you have AOSH ANZO, that's the Advanced Organization in St. Hill. ANZO, that's in Sydney, Australia. So you can see only 7 Sea Org Service Orgs here. I'll tell you what's missing from this list. Flag in Clearwater, Florida is missing from this list. And the ship, the Free Winds service, the Free Winds ship is missing from this list. And I guess they just figured it wasn't fair to have Flag and the Free Winds competing against every other Sea Org org. Okay, the bottom half where it says Class 5 Org League. I know not everyone came here for a Scientology lesson, but the reason these organizations are called Class 5 organizations is because they are allowed to train up to Scientology Class 5 auditors. And these orgs used to be called Class 4 orgs back when Scientology's Bridge to Total Freedom was structured differently. But so a Class 5 org is really it's your major mainline Scientology org. And anything lower, the only thing lower underneath an org, you have what's called a mission. And missions are not allowed to train Scientology auditors, which is why it's one of the main things that separates a mission from an org. A mission cannot train a Scientology auditor. Only a Class 5 org or above can train a Scientology auditor. Also, Class 5 orgs are owned, operated, and run by the Mother Church of Scientology International. Missions are privately owned and open and close all the time. They're not even open even a mission that's open isn't even open all the time. It's not open 7 days a week. It's not open, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Class 5 orgs will, for the most part, never, ever, ever shut down. Missions open and close all the time. Okay, so on the right-hand side, you can see the top 14 orgs in the cumulative standings for Scientology internationally are Del Valle, which I believe is an org in Mexico City, San Francisco, Chicago, Austin, Paris, Denmark, Melbourne. I've always said this Kaohsiung, but now that I look at it, it might be pronounced Kaohsiung. Anyway, that's in Taiwan. Milano, Tampa, London, Miami, Orlando, and Dublin. Okay, so that's the top of the list. I just wanted to show that to you so you can see it really is the weekly L. Ron Hubbard birthday game standings. Now I'm going to show you the bottom of the list. The importance of this being the bottom is you'll see there's only 134 freaking orgs. This is Scientology's own internal weekly reports verifying that even according to their own numbers, their own list, their own information, their own birthday game standings, there is only 134 Scientology orgs in the world. So when they say 10,000 orgs, missions, and groups, you should know that that's 134 orgs. It's probably 100 missions, and it's 9,700 and change of imaginary fictional groups that Scientology just invents, because there's no way for anybody to prove that those groups don't exist because they don't have a list of them. Okay. Okay, so let's look at some of the worst failing Scientology orgs in the entire world. For fun, I'm going to start with the Celebrity Center of New York. How funny is it that the Celebrity Center of New York is one of the worst performing Scientology organizations in the entire world? Okay, going downhill from there, you then have New Haven, you have Lyon, you have Novara, I think that's in Italy. You have Ifade, which is in Mexico City. You have Port Elizabeth, I think that's South Africa. You have Battle Creek, Michigan. You have Sunderland. Oh, I always forget it. Sunderland is in the UK, right? You have Brighton is in the UK. Plymouth is in the UK. Wow, UK is really like crap. Harare, I actually don't know where Harare is. Is that in South Africa? Let me look it up real quick. Harare it's in Zimbabwe. Okay. I didn't even know they had a freaking org in Harare. Okay. Nice, that's in France. Lisbon, Ifade, which is also in Mexico City. Adelaide, Australia. I've always said this Göteborg. I know it's a city in Sweden. It's by Göteborg. Winnipeg, Oslo, Bern, Aarhus. I've never heard of that in my life. Aarhus. I don't even remember that org. Aarhus. Let's see where it is. Oh, it's in Denmark. Oh, so that must just is that just what they call the Denmark org? Because I know there can't be more than one org in Denmark. There's the Sea org in Denmark, and then the regular org in Denmark. Okay, anyway, it's in Denmark. Hanover and Bulawayo. Guys, I did not know there was an org in Bulawayo. I don't even remember a Bulawayo org. Okay, so even though what I've showed you is the beginning of the list and the end of the list, what I'm going to read for you, but not show you, because I don't want to accidentally reveal any markings on this list that will reveal anything. I just want to very quickly read for you off the complete list of Scientology organizations in the entire world. There's very few cities in the world that have more than one Scientology organization. And the ones that, like Los Angeles is the first one that comes to mind. Any other city that has more than one Scientology org usually does so because there's a regular org and there's a celebrity center, like Paris or Dusseldorf or something like this. Anyway, I'm just going to read them off for you, okay? Get ready. Here we go. 134 orgs in 2 minutes. Okay, Del Valle, San Francisco, Chicago, Austin, Paris, Denmark, Melbourne, Kaohsiung, Milano, Tampa, London, Miami, Orlando, Dublin, Pretoria, Joburg, that's Johannesburg, Twin Cities, Tokyo, Padua, Tel Aviv, Budapest, Bogota, Scientology, Mexico. Okay, so what has happened is sometimes some of these orgs, when they buy their brand new big building and they do their grand opening of the new building, the org takes on a different name technically. So for example, like the Columbus org is now known as Central Ohio, whereas it used to be known as Columbus. Okay, so anyway, there's an org here called Scientology Mexico. Portland, Cincinnati, New York, Rome, Quebec, Boston, Stuttgart, Sacramento, Madrid, Washington, D.C., Toronto, Salt Lake City, Denver, Seattle, Sydney, Australia, San Diego, Las Vegas, Atlanta. By the way, I'm reading these in the order of the cumulative standings. So the lower are you down on the list, the shittier you are as an org. Atlanta, Silicon Valley, Ventura, Cambridge, Basel, Johannesburg North, Vancouver, Birmingham, Valley, that's like the Silicon Valley, Amsterdam, Happy, H-A-P-I, that's actually Edinburgh, Scotland, Auckland, New Zealand, Pasadena, Dallas, Perth, Orange County, Hawaii, Harlem, Columbus, Central Ohio, Durban, Buenos Aires, Pordenone, Inglewood, Kansas City, Barcelona, Venezuela, Berlin, Cape Town, Celebrity Center, Dusseldorf, Zurich, Brescia, Detroit, Verona, Athens, Munich, Sardinia, Caracas, Phoenix, Montreal, Lausanne, I think that's in Switzerland, Lausanne. Celebrity Center Vienna, Torino, Italy. Celebrity Center Firenze. And then there's an org here. Someone's going to have to let me know. Email me, put it in the live chat. I do not know what this means on the birthday game standings. It's CSE. C as in Charlie, S as in Sam, E as in Echo. CSE. I have no idea what org that acronym refers to. Guadalajara, Stevens Creek, Geneva, Angers. I think it's in France, Angers. Hamburg, Polanco, ACD. I think ACD is one of the orgs in Mexico City, but I cannot be sure. Philadelphia, Malmo, I think that's Sweden. Frankfurt, Vienna, Buffalo, Monza, Nashville, Dusseldorf, Puerto Rico, St. Louis, Albuquerque, Catania, Manchester. There's an org here in France. I've never heard of this org before. I'm guessing it's one of these orgs that has been renamed. Anyway, it's called Clermont-Ferrand. I looked it up earlier and it gave me Clermont-Ferrand in France. I don't know. It's in France. Okay, guys. Brisbane, Australia, Stockholm, Long Island, Los Gatos, Ottawa, ACT. I also do not remember what org this stands for. A as in Alpha, C as in Charlie, T as in Tom, ACT. If anybody knows, please let me know. Edmonton, Celebrity Center, New York, New Haven, Leon, Novara, Ifade, another Mexico org, Port Elizabeth, Battle Creek, Sunderland, Brighton, Plymouth, Harare, Nice, Lisbon, Ifade. See, I'm saying Ifade and Ifade. So Ifade is IFAR. Ifade is IFAD. Anyway, Adelaide, Göteborg, Winnipeg, Oslo, Bern, Aarhus, Hanover, and Bulawayo. If you did not hear your city on that list, you have been marked safe from Scientology infiltration, folks. Praise be. Okay, that's it. Just a short one here. I do have Marilyn helping me start comments in the back. So let's see what we've got here. Luis, not Thelma. Love your videos, Aaron. Thank you, Luis, not Thelma. I appreciate it. Good Juju Travels. Hey, Aaron. All we have to do is sit back and watch as they destroy themselves daily. Absolutely. Kylie, question, why don't you do as many videos anymore? You used to go live once or twice a day, and it feels like you've slowed down. It really is just this season. Not that I've specifically, not that this is the season every year that I slow down. It is for no specific reason other than it is a season where it actually feels really good for me just to take it easy and not do as much content. Meaning there's no specific reason other than just relaxing, and it happens to just be the season of relaxing. But you know, when I come back strong, it's going to be strong. Okay, Clearwater Chad, Scientology died on the vine. Hi, Clearwater Chad. And Chad, thank you for doing your chatathon the other night. I went through the whole 10-hour live stream that you did, raising funds for the SPTV Foundation, and I put a list together of every single person who joined you, and I did that so I could put out a special thank you to all of you guys, and I'm going to get around to that soon, but just wanted to say thank you, Chad. I appreciate it. Kylie says, it's funny how the UK is separate from Europe. I know they left the EU, but they didn't physically leave the continent. Kylie, it's always been that way in Scientology as far as the continental organization of the whole thing. And what that really means is there is a continental Sea Org management unit in East Grinstead, and there is a separate continental management unit in Copenhagen, Denmark. So it's just always been that way from the days of Elrond. All right. CO Bilf, Keyboard Division, Goldenrod Army. Oh my God, you're so funny. How many layers of false stat reporting before they arrive at these numbers? Yes, and guys, I have another leak that I'm going to share with you guys tomorrow that's even, to me, even more demonstrative of the absolute failure of Scientology. All Scientology orgs right now are competing with each other for, they're doing a bookathon. And I asked, like, what are the rules? What's the, you know, how does this work? You know, Scientology theoretically would want to sell books online, sell books on the street. Like, what does this mean? Orgs right now are competing with each other to see who can go out to locations in the world, whether it's like a mall or a fair or a market, and just sell hard copy books. And as of right now, there are orgs in the top 10 internationally who have only sold 10 books. 10 books. Now, imagine you're a Scientology staff member and you've been told there's 15 million Scientologists, that the society is clamoring for Scientology solutions, that Scientology Super Bowl ads and Tom Cruise are just driving people into the orgs. And you can see that that's not happening where you are, but you've bought into this line that you guys are the ones who are struggling. Everyone else is doing fantastic. When you look at weekly birthday game stats, these numbers are so meaningless that you can look at them and those numbers don't directly translate into the size of an org, right? And so you can look at these birthday game standings, and whether an org is high or low on the list does not necessarily reflect the size of that org. And so it's easy to, look at that list and sort of not quite get the message that orgs everywhere are failing. But let's say you're in an org and you're one of these orgs that are struggling, and you happen to sell 15 books, and you find out that puts you in like the top 5% of all orgs in the entire world. For a second, you might be happy that you're at the top of the standings. But the very next second, a crushing reality hits you. That out of all Scientology organizations in the world, you sold 15 books and you beat everyone? That's not good news. Anyway, I'm going to get my hands on the Bookathon standings report, and I'm going to show you tomorrow, hopefully, maybe the day after, the actual evidence of how small and failing all of these Scientology orgs in the world are. Lathanda Grauklinger, good to see you, Lathanda. I've been thinking about the Sea Org for a while now, and I can't find the answer. Isn't the Sea Org, per definition, out exchange? The members give everything and don't even get soap or other necessities. Oh, that's interesting. You're saying the Sea organization itself is out exchange. Wow. That's a good point, except, God, that's a really good point. Because L. Ron Hubbard, I was about to say an entity can't really be out exchange. Only individuals can be out exchange. But L. Ron Hubbard would tell you that the IRS is out exchange, right? Like a Scientologist would go, well, even if the Sea Org is out exchange, David Miscavige isn't out exchange, and Sea Org members aren't out exchange because they work so hard. They exchange in abundance. And then you go, okay, so could all Sea Org members be practicing what Scientology would call condition for exchange? But the Sea Org itself as an entity could be out exchange. And then what would that mean? That would mean the Sea Org is essentially a criminal organization. It takes more than it gives. But no, because then Scientologists would say the Sea organization gives the gift of eternal spiritual freedom. And the freedom from amnesia, it couldn't possibly be out exchange. So then you would have to go, okay, so who is the Sea Org supposed to be in an exchange with? It's public or it's staff. And you could make the argument that the Sea organization as an entity is out exchange with its staff members, but you're thinking about it much more deeply than any Scientologist would think about it. But that is a fascinating concept. Thank you, Lathanda. Okay, G Buddy Never In. G-Buddy Never In. G Buddy Never In. I don't know. Always appreciate you breaking these things down for us. Thank you so much, G-Buddy Never In. Marilyn says 900 Starbucks in Florida, 68 locations in Orlando alone. Google doesn't say how many in the Tampa Bay area. Safe to say, there's a lot. That is incredible. Thank you for looking that up, Marilyn. Mary James, the only game we all want our city and country to lose. Amy 27, Aaron coming in hot with the receipts. Lydia Von Stretchclaw, hurrah, the UK orgs are especially failing. By the way, one of the other takeaways I have from this list, I was shocked to be reminded of how many orgs there are in Italy. I'm actually going to go through this list and I'm going to put it in a spreadsheet and I'm going to add the country and I'm going to sort it by country. And then when I do the update for the Bookathon, I'll tell you guys how many orgs there are in each country because I think that's interesting. Old Frizz, Aaron's like an excited puppy when he gets like this. Yes, indeed. Good Juju says, Aaron, it's Gothenburg. That does make more sense. I remember when we were playing the Division 4 birthday game, we pretty much really took a lot of joy in calling them Goatborg, because Americans find goats to be funny. But yes, Gothenburg. All right, I'll try to remember that. Nana Boo Boo says, wow, caught alive finally. Nice to see you, folks. Well, nice to see you, Nana Boo Boo. CO Bilf, OMG, how much are they paying Zenoop to be allowed to operate there? Harare org, ridiculous reminder of LRH embarrassing intrigues. Well, I don't know what Marilyn's trying to send me a message. I don't know what she's saying. Zenoop. I don't know. That's over my head, CO Bilf. Jimmy the OG, Aaron, big fan of yours. Keep fighting the good fight, sir. Thank you, Jimmy the OG. I appreciate it. Dave's Deep Dives. I was walking past my local Ideal org last weekend, and they were doing public guided tours and have a cafe inside. Is that normal? Yes, for a class 5 org, that's normal. The reason being is that is where you are supposed to join Scientology. It's not normal in Clearwater, Florida at Flag, for example, because you can't join Scientology at Flag. But at an org where they want people to join, it's normal for them to come up with reasons to bring new people in, even if it's for weird reasons like an open house. Pup Groomer 20, Vegas is a celebrity center and the property is in bad shape. Little to no paint for the parking lot, filthy, cracks in the cinder block walls. Incredible. Andrea Russo, good to see you, Andrea. I was on staff at the Cincinnati org when we won the birthday game. We thought we were such hot shit. Yes, Philadelphia was never a threat to win the birthday game. But I remember my friend Hector Cruzado had become the executive director of one of the Mexican orgs, and they had won the birthday game. And then the next time I saw him in Clearwater, I was chatting with him about how amazed I was that their org was like so big to win the birthday game. And he was sheepishly embarrassed that they had even won the birthday game. Like he couldn't believe an org as small as his had won the birthday game. Now, one of the features of the birthday game is the point system is such that it's supposed to allow a small org to compete against a big org. But still, I think Hector knew at that time that the fact that his org actually won the birthday game when they had very few staff and were not really solvent and not a whole lot of public he was actually kind of embarrassed. All right, guys, that is it for me for now. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you, as always, to everyone who watches until the very end, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not,